Let's talk about something we've all been through. You work so hard to build a good habit, waking up early, hitting the gym, whatever it is, and you feel the difference, right? But then someone asks you about it, and you kind of freeze up. You can't quite explain your own success. Well, you know what? Today, we're going to fix that. We're all out here trying to build good habits, right? But here's the real question. Can you actually tell the story of your success? Because honestly, a lot of the time, the hardest part isn't even doing the work. It's taking that feeling, that knowing that you're making progress, and turning it into a clear story that actually sticks.
Okay, so how do we do that? Well, we need a tool, a framework for thinking about this. Let's call it the Habit Narrative Framework. And look, this isn't just about having a cool answer ready for your friends. This is about building a powerful story for yourself so you can really understand your own journey and, lock in those wins for good.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with how to craft your narrative. Then, we'll walk through 3 simple steps: the origin, the impact, and the evidence. And then we'll tie it all together to show how this leads to what we're all after, a real lifestyle upgrade.
All right, let's get into it. The whole idea here is to build your own personal success story. Something that's not just true, but genuinely empowering. A story that really cements what you've achieved.
Okay, step 1, the origin. Every great story needs a beginning, right? Your habit is no different. We've got to go back to where it all started. Chapter 1.
So, it really boils down to 2 simple but super important questions: when and why. If you can pinpoint the exact moment and the real reason you started, you've got the foundation for your entire story. Seriously, every powerful habit has a powerful origin story.
And you've got to get specific here. What was the trigger? Was there a moment where you just said, "That's it, I've had enough"? What was the exact problem you were trying to solve? Maybe you were just tired of feeling exhausted all the time. What was that first simple goal? Nailing this down is absolutely key, because that why is your anchor.
All right, so you've got your origin story. Now the plot thickens. Step 2 is all about the impact. This is where we map out the real, tangible changes that have happened in your life because of this habit.
And the key here is to think in concrete terms. It's so easy to just say, "Oh, I feel better." But feeling better isn't a story, is it? You've got to ask yourself, how exactly did my daily routine change? What does my morning look like now versus what it looked like before?
When you lay it out like a before and after, the impact becomes so clear it's undeniable. You literally go from waking up tired to waking up refreshed. Your disorganized, chaotic mornings become these super productive focus blocks of time. See? That comparison turns a vague feeling into a result you can actually see.
Okay, so you have the beginning of your story and the middle, the origin and the impact. But to make this story absolutely rock solid, not just for other people, but for you, we need one last thing. We need the proof.
And your proof comes in 2 flavors, and both are super powerful. First, you've got the hard data, the numbers. And second, you've got the personal stories, the little examples of how your life is different now. You really need both to paint the full picture.
So, for example, let's stick with this sleep habit. A simple number can be huge. Imagine being able to say, "I now average 7.5 hours of sleep a night, up from 5. Boom! That's not a feeling, that's a cold, hard fact. That's proof.
But hey, don't sleep on the personal stuff either. A statement like, "I have the mental clarity to solve problems that used to overwhelm me." Wow, that's the meaning behind the numbers. It's the real-world story that gives the data its soul, you know?
So, what happens when we put it all together? The origin, the impact, the evidence. Well, you get something so much bigger than just a new habit. You get a fundamental shift in your life.
Because what you're really doing when you build and track a habit like this isn't just about the action. It's about building core principles. It's about forging who you're becoming.
The first big one, self-discipline. Your habit story is literally a record of you choosing your goals over what's easy, again and again and again.
And right on the heels of discipline comes consistency. Remember all that evidence we talked about in step 3? That's your proof. It shows how all those tiny actions have compounded over time into massive results.
And when you put self-discipline and consistency together, that's when you get the real prize, a genuine lifestyle upgrade. This isn't just a new schedule, folks. It's a whole new baseline for your life. It's a shift in who you are, in your very identity.
So, let's wrap it up. It all comes down to the super simple 3-step plan. 1. Define your origin. 2. map your impact, and 3, collect your evidence. That's it. This framework isn't just about seeing your progress, it's about owning it. So, I'll just leave you with this one thought. As you go out and build your next habit, what story is it going to tell?